Welcome everybody to 52 Living Ideas. My name is Evanique. I'm filling in for Cherie Kant and that I'm moderating. The order of tonight will be is that we will have two readers. We are reading chapter 11, by the way, and we will have two readers, Ambika and Penny. And so they will be reading chapter 11, verses 36 to 40. And then Yogeshwar will give the commentary, and then I will open it up for questions and or comments. If you have a question and or comment, you can type exclamation point or raise your hand and Zoom. So Ambika, whenever you're ready.
Let Penny go first.
Okay.
Well, if you go first, it would be great because this doesn't have verses. And that way I can see exactly which part to read.
Okay. A second.
And this is verse 36 to 40?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Arjuna said, rightly and in good place, O Rishikesha, Sri Krishna, does the world rejoice and take pleasure in thy name and glory. The Rakshasas are fleeing from thee in terror to all quarters, and the companies of the Siddhas bow down before thee in adoration. How should they not bow in homage unto thee, O great spirit? For thou art the original creator and doer, and greater even than creative Brahma. O thou infinite, O thou Lord of the gods, O thou abode of the universe, thou art the immutable. Thou art what is and is not, and thou art that which is the supreme. Thou art the original Godhead, the ancient soul. Thou art the supreme resting place of this all. Thou art the knower, and thou the to be known, and thou the supreme status. O infinite form, by thee is the universe extended. Thou art Vayu, the Lord of wind, Yama, the Lord of law, Agni, the fire god, Varuna, the Lord of waters, Shashanka, the Soma, moon, Prajapati, the Lord of creatures and the ancestor of all. Salutation to thee 1,000 times over, and again and yet again salutation. Bowed am I to thee in thy front, bowed at the back of thee, bowed again from every side, O all. Infinite in might and immeasurable in strength of action art thou. Thou pervadest all, and thou pervadest all, and thus art everything.
Thank you, Ambika. Up next, we have Penny.
Okay. Well, it is the world delights to do your honor. At the sight of you, O master of the senses, demons scatter every way in terror, and the hosts of siddhas bow adoring. Mightiest, how should they indeed withhold their homage? O prime cause of all, even Brahma the beginner, deathless, world's abode, the Lord of Devas, you are what is not, what is, and what transcends them. You are first and highest in heaven, O ancient spirit. It is within you the cosmos rests in safety. You are known and knower, goal of all our striving. Endless in your change, your body, fourth creation. Lord of fire and death, of wind and moon and waters, Father of the born, and this world's father's father. Hail, all hail to you, 1,000 salutations. Take our salutations, Lord, from every quarter, infinite of might and boundless in your glory. You are all that is, since everywhere we find you.
Thank you, Penny. Up next, we have Yogeshwar.
Arjuna Uvacha Sthane Rishikesh Tava Prakirtya Jagat Prarishyatyanurajyate Cha Rakshansi Bhitani Disho Dravanti Sarve Namasyanti Cha Siddha Sangha. Krishna has revealed his self to Arjuna that this is who I am. This is how you should know me. I am the ultimate. Now, Arjuna has known the ultimate. This, what is happening to Arjuna and what Arjuna is saying now is a reflex to that. It is an automatic response. When you know the ultimate, this happens. These words are not Arjun's doing. These words we are going to hear are from the core. They are from somewhere unknown. That's why these words are important. And this is, by what I mean, an automatic reflex. It doesn't mean like reflex as we know it, like maybe if we put our hand into a hot stove and then there's an automatic reflex that we pull our hand back. Not a neural automatic reflex. This is an automatic reflex. What I mean by that is this is from the core. It is not something that you can do, because whatever you can do is at the peripheral. And what happens is from the core. Arjuna is pointing out that I have known your glory. And all that glory that you've told me, whether it was in chapter 7 or chapter 9, where you say that everything comes out of me and then it goes back into me. And whether it was chapter 10, where you pointed out that you are the greatest in each and every category of things in the peripheral. I now know you, and I know what you said was actually right. You know, there is one way we say somebody is right, using our intellect, using our mind. We say that, yes, what you are saying fits into what I have known for all this time. It fits into the criteria of knowledge that I have known. That Arjuna had had an experience in chapter 10, at the start of chapter 10. Here what Arjuna is saying, that I have known you and I know you are right. It is of another level. It is of the unknown. It is of an experience. When Arjuna has had the experience, now he's saying that I know you because I have seen you, because you have revealed yourself to me. There is nothing at this point in time that I do not know about you. That's why I am saying that whatever you said was right, because I can see it. And I can also see this, that Jagat Prarishyat Anurajyate Cha. Everything and every living being is taking pleasure in you, is having its own bliss in you. Without you, there is no bliss in this world. All the bliss is you. And there's also another thing happening. Rakshansi bhitani drisho dravanti. All the bad people all the bad powers, all the bad energy, all that, it's terrified by you. Arjuna can see this in that when he sees Krishna in front of him, everything that was of negative, everything that was of a negative thought went far away from where he was, and even it was cleared out of his mind. For that reason, he can see that Rakshansi Bhitani. And looking at what Krishna is, Disho Dravanti, all the four directions are just trembling. Sarve namasyanti cha siddha sangaha. While all these are trembling, while the whole world is trembling, what do those who know you do when they know you? And siddha sangaha, meaning the groups of people who know you, who have come into contact with you. Namasyanti. That's all that they can do. That is what happens when from the core, from the center, you realize that this is who I am and this is who I always was. Kasmachatena nameran mahatman kariyase brahmanopyadikartre ananta devesha jagan nivasa tvamaksharam satat param yat. And now he's continuing, Arjuna is continuing. Siddha Sangaha are always bowing down to you. And Arjuna is putting a qualification to it. Kasmachate na nameran mahatman. There is no reason why they do not bow down to you. Because this is not an intellectual choice that should I bow down or should I not bow down? Should I think that he is right or should I not think he is right? What has my intellect told me since I have known? It's not anything like that. It is past that. And when I say past intellect, it means that Arjuna has been dwelled with the intellect from all these chapters. And now, this is the point in time where the truth is revealed onto him, the ultimate has been revealed, and he's realizing that with my intellect, I couldn't have gotten this. With any logic I would have used, it would have been the logic of the peripheral. But when it comes to the center, I have never come into contact with the center. And for that reason, there's no logic I can use to think about the center. When Arjuna is at the center, there is that feeling whereby just like there is a plant or a seedling that is at the shore of a river, when the river flows, that seedling will flow just in the direction of the river. You know, you will see that that seedling is bowing down. In a way, it is bowing down to the floor of the river. And if you see it in the other way, it is a normal act. That's what it does. So this is what happens when you realize the ultimate. You bow down, not because you're intellectually bowing down or because somebody is greater than you, intellectually or bodily or anything. You just bow down because that is nature. That is how you are. Kariyase brahmanopyadi kartre. Because who are they bowing down to? It's not just bowing down to anyone. It is bowing down to creation itself. It's bowing down to the energy itself that flows within each and every one. And who are you now? Arjuna is saying, because you are Ananta, Devesha, Jagannivasa, that's why they bow down to you. Because there is no place you are not. And everything points towards you. Meaning of Deva, as we have gone back to so many times, is anything that points towards the ultimate. That pointer will be at the peripheral, yes. But if it points to the ultimate, then it has a greater value to those who are pursuing the center. So that means that they will have a different name for it. And that name is Deva. When we say Devesha, here we're saying that Deva, yes, we know all those pointers at the peripheral that point towards the center, that point towards the ultimate. Now I can know that you are that which they point towards. Jagannivasa. Everything is based on you. All the unmanifest is everything. And the manifest is just based on the unmanifest. There's nothing in the manifest without that which is in the unmanifest. Tvamaksharam sadasat tat param yat. You are never fading. You're always as you are. Never even a little part of you fades off. And again, sad asat. We would only like to know the ultimate as it is. Everything that is the ultimate. And Arjuna here is saying paradoxically that sad asat, whatever I can know as true or as being, you are. Whatever is not in being is also you. And Arjuna uses a third word here, tat param yat. Whatever is above these two, not only being and non-being, but even above that. Everything is you. There's nothing that is void of you. That's why those who know you are always bowing down to you. Tvamadideva purusha puranas tvamasya vishwasya param nidhanam vettasi vedyam cha param cha dhama tvaya tatam vishwamananta rupa. One thing is, you are Adideva. You are the first. Because when we talk about those at the peripheral that point towards the center, first you must have the center. You can't have a pointer without what they are pointing towards. Adideva, meaning we have all the devtas, all those at the peripheral that point towards the center. And the center was there from before. What these pointers do is just point towards it. And without the center itself, without the ultimate itself, there would be nothing to point towards. In that way, he is Adideva, Purusha, Purana, and you are the center. You are the Purusha. Purusha here, if you take it in terms of Sankhya, Purusha and Prakriti make up the whole world. So we talk about the center and the peripheral. In that way, you are the center. And you are Purana, meaning even though the manifest was not there, we can think about the manifest not being there at any one point in time. Still you are there. Even at that time, you were there. Even before the manifest, you were there. And Tomasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. You were there before, yes, but everything is also going to just come into you. It's going to dissolve into you. In a way, we can look at it in the mode of creation and destruction. And another way to look at this is Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam, meaning when you realize that the ultimate is what is, then whatever you're seeing at the peripheral fades away. It fades away into the ultimate. It fades away into the center. It is like, this is just an example, not to be exact, but with our eyes, if we are focusing at one point with our eyes, everything else fades away. In a way, we do not concentrate on it. It is in our sight, yes, but there's no distinction in that. The only distinction is that what we are focusing is different from what we are not focusing on. So when we are focusing on the ultimate, everything dissolves into the ultimate. And all just comes into the ultimate within our experience as well. When we know the ultimate, then everything just dissolves into that. There's no peripheral, there's no center, everything is just the ultimate. There are no distinctions. Vettasi vedyam cha param cha dhama tvaya tatam vishwamananta rupa. So Arjuna here is knowing that Vettasi, like you are the one who knows. Vedyam, that means you are the one who is supposed to be known. After knowing you, there's nothing else to be known. So you are Vedyam. Normally, this is taken as three things. One is the knower. Another is something to be known. And the third is knowing. So knower, the known, and the act of knowing itself. And here, Arjuna is realizing that the knower, who is me, and then that which will be known is also the same. Even the act of knowing is the same. There's no difference in that. Everything is getting into one. It is getting into the Advaita. It is getting into not two, because Advaita meaning not two. So how would like to translate Advaita to oneness? Yeah, that is a translation, that's fine. But knowing Advaita, because they would have just said Ekatva. Yeah? But why did they say Advaita? Why did they say not two? Because they do not also want to say one, just one. Yeah? They want to move away from counting, because when you say one, why did you count one? Like, for example, in English, when we say there is a mango, yeah, that means there is one here, yes, then there is another in another place. But when we say the mango, meaning there is no any other, like when you count one, you'll have to count two. And without counting 2, 3, 4, there's no need of counting one. You'll just say that is what is. You do not need to count it. You'll just say the mango, because that's the only one we know. We'll not start counting it. We'll not say one mango. Because when we say one mango, we'll want to say, where is the second one? In that way as well, Advaita, meaning there is nothing to count. It is just what it is. And in that way, all that we have known, in the way that you see at the beginning, because Indian culture, Indian philosophy allows all the steps to be, including the step of who am I? In that step, what you'll do is separate yourself from what you are knowing. So you'll become the knower, and that at the peripheral will become the known. And there will be a string of knowledge in between. In that state, because that is a middle state, and then you'll start removing everything that is not you, that is not part of you. And you'll say, this is not me, this is not me, this is not me. So what will remain is who you are. Here, Arjuna is saying that that is fine, because Arjuna also knows Krishna told me that this is what you're supposed to do. And Arjuna here is realizing that that was fine at one point in time, but now there is something that whereby the knower, the known, and the knowledge, they do not remain three. They're not three different parts. And Arjuna realizes that it is the Advaita. It is that which is not dual. And in that, Arjuna says, Param Chadhama, that you are that in which everything finds its home in. Because when everything fades away, only the ultimate remains. Toya tatam vishwamananta rupa. Everything is filled by you. Whether it's something that we find that is trivial and it's not even of any use for us, still the ultimate is within that. And here, Arjuna gets that sight of samatva. Because when you get to know the ultimate is everywhere, then you get that sight of samatva. Vayuryamognir varuna shashanka prajapatistvam prapitamahascha namo namastestu sahasrakritva punascha bhuyopi namo namaste. Who are you? So you are all this that I can't even define. Like, you are everything. So how can I define you? How can I say that you are this or you are not this? And Arjuna here is saying that you are Vayu, you are Yama, you are the wind, you are death, you are fire, and you are the ultimate. You are the moon as well. And you are the source of all being. Everything is you. And in that bhava, in that state, Arjuna is saying, Namo namaste stu sahasrakritva punascha bhuyopi namo namaste. Arjuna is saying that there's nothing I can do now. Like, I am out of words. All I can do is, how many times should I say it? But I am just bowing down to you over and over again. 1,000 times maybe I can say, but again and again, even after doing it 1,000 times, I'll do it again and again. Bhuyopi, Namo, Namaste. And Arjuna realized that when he said Namaste, I bow down to you because I see the ultimate within you. Not even that I see the ultimate within you, but I see you are the ultimate. And then Arjuna is saying that not even that, like, because it's really hard to describe it in words. Arjuna here is saying that there is no difference here. Like, the ultimate just is. I don't need to say you are the ultimate, but the ultimate is. And I just bow down. And when I say that I bow down, it's not that it's because I am viewing a difference between myself and the ultimate. I see that the ultimate is also within me and is also there outside. It is a language barrier here that Arjuna is trying to get through. Because if he says bowing down is happening, who is bowing down? Somebody must be bowing down. That's what goes in our mind. If we just say bowing down is happening, we'll think Arjuna was bowing down. Yeah? So he must say he was bowing down. But here, Arjuna has not said that I am bowing down. He has not said aham. Yeah? He has not said Arjuna I is bowing down. He's just saying bowing down is happening because there's no I. And it's like when the I or the self just dissolves, then you realize the ultimate. You are one with the ultimate. And even saying that you are one with the ultimate, it's like there are two things, you and the ultimate, but still that is also not there. It's just the ultimate there. And when it's only the ultimate there, then what can Arjuna say? Namah purastadath prishtataste namostu te sarvata eva sarva ananta viryamita vikramastam sarvam samapnoshi tatosi sarva. Now, what can I say? Namah purastad. Bowing down is happening from the front. Atha prishtataste. Or from the back. Like, I don't even know how to bow down. Now, you have to teach me how to bow down because I am everywhere. I am just all around the place. How should I bow down? Should I bow down from the front? Should I bow down from the back? Because what would I say your front is? Or what should I say your back is? You are everywhere. You're facing each and every direction. In which direction should I bow down to you? So Arjuna then says that Namostute sarvata eva sarva. The only thing I can do is just bow down to you in all directions. In a way, it is not possible with this body because when you bow down in one direction. But in the state Arjuna is, it is possible. Arjuna is bowing down in all directions. Wherever he's feeling the ultimate is, he's just bowing down. And it is to the unmanifest. And Arjuna is realizing that whoever I'm bowing down to, or whatever it is, my I is dissolved. That is for a fact. What is Ananta Virya. The energy, I can't even hold it. It's so much. Avikramastam. What it is just avikrama. Nobody can go past it. And sarvam samapnoshi tatosi sarva. Everything just dissolves into you. It fades away into the ultimate. That's why I say that the ultimate is just as it is. And what I am doing as Arjuna is just bowing down, whereby my I is not there, And when my I dissolves, then it's just the act happening without me interfering with it. And that is what happened with Arjuna.
Thank you, Yogeshwar. Now it is time for questions and comments. If you have a question and or a comment, you can either type exclamation point in the chat or raise your hand in Zoom. If no one has anything, I do have a couple questions, Yogeshwar, if you're ready. So when you talk about the manifest, is that like creation, or is it something that's being created? Like, I know we've talked about it before, but I guess I'm just trying to still grasp that.
So the manifest, meaning everything that is within the reach of your senses, everything, whether it is even far away from what we know, but still, for example, the manifest includes everything that has been created since. So whether it is something even beyond your senses, it is manifest as long as it is created.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Or if you want to talk about what you're getting from this? Okay, you guys sure do you, oh, Ambika.
So when you spoke about the difference between the one and the Advaita, so the word that I felt was indivisible. It can't be divided into parts, that being, that ultimate beingness. And I wondered if you could say a little bit more about that. The difference between, because people like to count and you don't have to.
Yes, so Advaita normally is translated as oneness, or like an experience of oneness between so many things. And how it should be looked at is not just a oneness. Because when you say oneness, it's like, it may be one at one time and then it will become 2, 3, 4. Because when you start counting 1, there is going to be some other counting as well that is going to happen. And when you talk about Advaita, meaning there is not going to be any division within it. And when there is a division is when counting happens. Like if we say one sun, yeah, then somebody would look awkward. Why would you say one sun? You would just say the sun. Yeah? Why would one start counting the sun? Even in normal English terms. That's why one was not used as a term in knowing what the ultimate is. If we say one moon, meaning that we want to start counting the moons, like we can see that in Jupiter and other places, but let's say the sun, that's a perfect example, the sun. Nobody will say one sun, even though it is one, like it is countable, but it is one, but nobody will say one sun. You will just say this sun, and everyone will understand. That's how it is supposed to be understood. Because when you start counting like one sun, then you yourself, you look awkward because, well, what do you want to do now? Because you're counting one sun. Do you want to say like, this is one and then there's another in another place? Or what do you want to do? Like even in normal English, it's awkward to say one sun.
Thank you. Up next, we have Penny.
Okay. Oh. I just had a question, kind of at the beginning when they were talking about, here it said that the perfected beings offered their, respectful homage to Krishna, but the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. And then I start getting a little confused when I'm thinking that, if Krishna has created everything and everything is in a way one, then I just get a little confused about the demons and fleeing.
Yes. So Arjuna is having this experience and he is explaining it, what his experience is. So one thing you'll realize that when you get to such a state whereby your self is dissolved into the ultimate, then one thing you'll not be able to do is any bad act, any bad action will not be able to come from within you. It's like when you're at that state of being, you're not able to do anything wrong to another person. Because when you're doing anything wrong to another person, that wrong is not happening to another person. It's like because there's no other, because there's no me. I've not put the boundary of me, so there's no other. Everything is one and the same. So in that relation, one thing that falls off automatically, it's not something you're getting rid of, but this is something that is gotten rid of automatically, is bad actions. So in that way, bad actions are not part of you, like they're not your swabhava. Your swabhava in yourself is always just being. And when you just are, you'll have the unconditional love towards every being. When you just are, you'll have that unconditional compassion towards all. You'll have that, when you just are, and every duality is fading away, what is void of any bad actions. And bad actions is what brings all the negative energy into. So in this way, Arjuna is realizing that all the bad actions or the bad karma I have done before is fading away completely. Like I can't, in a way, that person he can't do bad action. He's incapacitated in a way to do bad action. The only thing he can do is good action towards anybody else. So in that way, Arjuna is saying that all the bad actions, all the bad sanskaras that I had before, they're all fading away because they're not part of me. They can't stay within me. And rakshansi bhitani, meaning that all those from the outside as well that were allowing me to do bad action are also fading away because there's no outside and inside now. Yeah? So everything is just fading away. There's no bad action, there's no bad sanskara remaining. And everything is just bliss. Jagat prarishyat anurajyatecha. When the ultimate is within anybody, it's just bliss.
Thank you. Up next, we have
Just one
Ambika.
quick question again. So in other words, like bad actions, well, maybe this is obvious, but bad actions and things like that, they only exist in the periphery. If you are in the center, with the ultimate, basically there is nothing bad anymore. It's just everything is kind of.
Yes. So first, I will try to do it from the peripheral. Like in the peripheral, we'll have bad action and good action. That's how we normally view it. So we have the right and wrong in the periphery. Now, what happens is everything that is right and wrong in the periphery is not related to the center at all. It is just at the periphery. When you get to the center, there is that love, there is that compassion. It won't be the same compassion as it is at the periphery. Like, we also have compassion, we are compassionate. We also have love towards others. But even the good, which is at the peripheral, is not the same good that is at the center. There is a qualitative difference between them. Because when you say love, we love a person or we love something. And when we talk about the center, it is unconditional love, meaning that there is no condition you put to it. Whether someone is in front of you or is not, love is just flowing from within you. So it's not conditioned by anything else. There's no conditions you're putting it, there are no qualifications you're putting to it. It just is. So everything at the peripheral will fade away. So with that, because you see, there is a relation between the compassion you have at the center and the compassion that is at the periphery. There is a link between it. So you can relate between that. And everything that is bad at the periphery, there is no direct relation to the center. There's nothing you can directly relate, which is at the center. So in that way, all that which is bad at the periphery will fade away. And all that is good at the periphery will just be as it is and will be supported by the center. And everything, basically, even that which was good at the periphery will just even be more, because it will be the same as what was at the center now. So it will be the unconditional love that will be at the periphery now as well, because everything is one now, center, periphery. So all those good qualities will just come out. It will like you are increasing the range of who you are. You are becoming everything rather than just one thing.
Thank you. Up next, we have Ambika.
I have a quick question, Yogeshwar. You know, you talked about the one sun. In Sri Vidya, they talk about 12 suns. So when we do Yantra Puja, we're doing the 12 suns. So I would like to know how we have that. Excuse me. And also when you talked about the flowers all bowing, it's just such a beautiful sense of inner wonder. But the 12 suns, please.
Yes. So the example I gave, this sun, it's because that's how we use it in English. It was just an example per se. So in Indian culture, there's Dwadash Aditya. They are the 12 suns. And what it symbolizes is because normally how the year is counted is by the phases of the moon here in India. It is the lunar year. In respect to that, each and every month shows a different phase of the sun. When the sun is in a specific phase, then we call it one sun, like we have a name for it. So each and every month, the sun will be the same as it is, but it will be in another phase, meaning it has another perspective for the person who is going towards the spiritual, who is going towards the center. It means something. When it means something, you give it a name, distinct. And when you give it a distinct name and it means something to you, it helps you get towards what you want to get to. That's why we have different names for each and every month the sun goes into, each and every phase the sun goes into.
So we're looking at astrology also at the same time, in a way.
Yeah, Dwadash Aditya is mainly astrology.
Right.
In that.
And then, but there's all this stuff coming out now that they're actually 13, and the 12 was compressed for some calendar, for some being. So are there 13?
13 sons?
No, will there be 13 constellations rather than 12 that we follow in the Adityas? Now there's
No,
talking.
see, yeah. Now the constellations are different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they are for the moon in a way.
Mhm.
And this, I'm talking about the sun, the Dwadesh Aditya.
Right.
They are only 12, not 13. And that's how they are counted by them. It is this, the sun that we have, that we see rising and setting every day. But in a way, like, for example, I would say yourself, yeah, you are who you are. When you're in relation to your father or your mother, you are their child. So you have a name, a child. So you have a distinct name, but that's not what you are in relation to your brother or sister. You'll have a distinct name. It doesn't mean you are different in both relations. You are the same who you are. The name given to you is in respect to the relation you have to whom you're standing besides. So it's the same with the sun.
Perspectival, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. If Krishna is everything and Krishna is in us, then are we, in a sense, everything?
Yes, so what is that the unmanifest holds all the manifest that we know. Everything we know is coming from the unmanifest, and it is powered by the unmanifest. We are, in essence, the unmanifest. It's just that we do not know. Like when we have forgotten, we'll act differently. There's normally a story that is said over the ages. Just imagine a king, and he has his son who is not following the rules of the kingdom. So the king throws him out of the kingdom. Now, when the king gets old, then he realizes that now he doesn't have any heir, and he has to get back his prince to take the kingdom forward. So he tells his ministers to go and find the prince. Now, what happens during these 15 years in the middle is the prince has even forgotten where he came from, because he was quite young when he was thrown out. Yeah. So he goes, he just roams everywhere, and without any sandals in his foot, or just his clothes are just what he had when he was thrown out of the kingdom, rugs all over the place, and he's asking for money from so many people. He's a beggar in a way. And when the minister comes towards him and says, "Oh prince, the king is calling you," a person who was begging at that time is in essence now telling the minister, now, okay, get everything ready, I'm coming with you. What happened in that split second? He was begging for money from other people. Now, when other people are even looking at him, they have a different sight and they want to have photographs with him, or they want his signature or anything. And he's saying, oh no, I don't have time for it. When at just a second before, he had all the time to ask for the money from them. So there is that difference in a way when we realize who we are, who we actually are, from who we are not. That second we realize who we are, everything in our life changes. So in essence, the prince never, he was always the son of the king. He was always the prince. There's no time he was not the prince. It's just that during the years, he forgot he was the prince. He forgot who he was. And when he was made to realize who he was, he got everything back. Right? He got all the, that distinct, when you call it like, he's telling his ministers, or get all this ready, make a berth ready for me, and I'm just coming with you to meet the king. All that within, where did it come from? Yet he was begging a second before. It was there. It's just that it is not shown until you realize who you actually are. So in that way, yes, you are always who you are. There's no time you are not who you are. But the thing is that we normally forget who we are. And when we forget, there is that problem of distinction. We think that now I have to change who I am. And that sometimes becomes a problem.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Okay. Yogeshwar has to step away for a second, but in the meantime, does anybody want to have any comments that they want to share, or what they're getting from this, or from this series as a whole?
What just occurred to me with the last comment that Yogeshwar made is, when you know who you are and you don't forget who you are, and being in your knowingness of who you are, in that wholeness, you can manifest what you so desire. It's when we fritter all back and forth, this or this, that we get lost. This was what I was feeling when he was saying that yeah, just know who you are, and then what you want to manifest.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking of when I was listening to him tell that story? It's the story in the Bible of the prodigal son. It's a little different in that the son chooses to leave instead of being thrown out, but it's the same thing. It's like he goes out and he has to be the beggar. He's eating what the farmers are feeding the pigs, and he's realized that he's messed up, but he goes to his father and he says, I will be a worker. He doesn't even ask for his status back. And then the father welcomes him back with open arms, and he gets to be who he always was. And I like that. It just reminded me of that a little bit. It's a little bit different of a story, but yeah. So anybody else want to share?
Madhav has raised his.
Well, it's Connie. I just really liked that last, when he described, Yogeshwar described that, it started coming together in my thoughts. Somehow it was like I got that. Whereas before that, so whoever brought that last conversation up, I'm appreciative, because it's dawning, it's sort of ringing true to me. So I'm so glad when the knowledgeable ones here are asking questions, because that's when I really can get more understanding. So yeah, it was great.
Thank you. Yeah, that's how I think I learned too, is when people are asking questions and then something triggers for me. Madhav, I don't know if you had a question for Yogeshwar or if you wanted to make a comment, but
it was a question for Yogeshwar.
okay. If anybody else doesn't have anything, I guess at this point in time, we could read, and then when Yogeshwar comes back, he can make the commentary. Penny? I'm sorry, Ambika, can you read?
Shall we not wait for Yogeshwar? He'll be back.
It's up to the group. I didn't just want it to be dead space.
How about, would you like me to read Sri Aurobindo's commentary on one of the shlokas?
Sure, thank you.
So I'll read, we started with 36, right? I'll read the short paragraph to 36. Is that okay? Okay. And that was the one that starts with Arjuna said, rightly and in good place, O Rishikesha, does the world rejoice and take pleasure in thy name and glory. So Sri Aurobindo's commentary is, from the first words, there comes the suggestion that the hidden truth behind these terrifying forms is a reassuring, a heartening and delightful truth. There is something that makes the heart of the world to rejoice and take pleasure in the name and nearness of the divine. It is the profound sense of that which makes us see in the dark face of Kali the face of the mother, and to perceive even in the midst of destruction the protecting arms of the friend of creatures, in the midst of evil the presence of a pure, unalterable benignity, and in the midst of death the master of immortality.
Thank you so much for reading that.
This was in response to the 36 also is the one which Penny brought up about the Rakshasas fleeing, that in that you see that center divinity too.
Do you think you could explain that a little bit more to me, or would you rather wait till Yogeshwar gets back? He just-
Actually, he just returned.
Oh,
So you guys were just to catch you up a bit. Ambika was reading Sri Aurobindo's. Oh, did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. She was reading his commentary on verse 36. I don't know if you heard any of it. So you guys sure if you're talking, you're on mute.
Is there any background noise? Is it a lot?
I can hear you.
Echo. Your voice has an echo.
Okay. So
And there is a
now,
little background noise.
okay.
There is.
Is it prominent or is it fine?
I'm fine with it.
It's
Anita.
fine. It's fine. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. So I didn't actually hear what Aurobindo's commentary that was read. Was there any question about it?
Connie, did you want to ask a question?
I just wanted sort of an interpretation, a little bit of it, maybe just a little bit of commentary on it.
How about this?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do you
How
want
about
me
this?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I heard you read it.
Do you want me to read that part again or carry on with the next?
Unless you have, do you want to answer Connie's question or do you want to move on?
Connie, how about if we take that up later?
Yeah, just go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you want me to read 41, 42, and till when, Ebony?
Sure, 41 to 46.
Okay. Whatsoever I have spoken to thee in rash vehemence, thinking of thee only as my human friend and companion, O Krishna, O Yadava, O comrade, not knowing this, thy greatness is negligent error or in love. And whatsoever disrespect was shown by me to thee in jest, on the couch and the seat and in the banquet, alone or in another's presence, O Achyuta, Sri Krishna, for that I pray forgiveness from thee, O immeasurable. Thou art the Father of all this world of the moving and unmoving. Thou art one to be worshipped and the most solemn object of veneration. None is equal to thee. How then another greater in all the three worlds, O incomparable in might? Therefore, I bow down before thee and prostrate my body, and I demand grace of thee, the adorable Lord, as a father to his son, as a friend to his friend, as a lover to his beloved, so shouldst thou, O Godhead, bear with me. I have seen what never was seen before, and I rejoice, but my mind is troubled with fear. O Godhead, show me that other form of thine. Turn thy heart to grace, O thou Lord of the gods, O thou abode of the universe. I would see thee even as before, crowned and with thy mace and discus. Assume thy four-armed shape, O thousand-armed, O form universal.
Thank you, Ambika. Up next, I have Penny. And that's from 41 to 46.
Carelessly, I called you Krishna and my comrade, took underlying God for friend and fellow mortal. Overbold with love, unconscious of your greatness. Often I would jest, familiar as we feasted, midst the throng or walked or lay at rest together. Did my words offend? Forgive me, Lord eternal. Author of this world, the unmoved and the moving. You alone are fit for worship. You the highest. Where in the three worlds shall any find your equal? Therefore I bow down, prostrate and ask for pardon. Now forgive me, God, as friend forgives his comrade, father forgives son, and man his dearest lover. I have seen what no man ever saw before me. Deep is my delight, but still my dread is greater. Show me now your other form, O Lord, be gracious. Thousand-membered universal being, show me now the shape I knew of old, the four-armed with your diadem and mace, the discus bearer.
Thank you, Penny. Your guest, Roy.
So one thing I would like to point out before going into the verses is there are two Gitas that are mainly taken into account for this revelation of the ultimate towards a person. One is Bhagavad Gita, what we are reading right now. Krishna reveals himself to Arjuna. And the other is Ashtavakra Gita, whereby Ashtavakra is the saint who comes to Raja Janaka, who comes to the king named Janaka. And Ashtavakra makes Janaka realize that who you are is actually the essence of the ultimate. And in both places, we see this distinct part whereby when realization happens, there is that essence of bowing down, there is the essence of just knowing the ultimate, and you can't stay straight up. You just bow down. So in Ashtavakra Gita, how it is put into context is Aho aham namo mayam vinasho yasya nasti me. Aho aham namo mahyam ekoham dehavanapi. Aho aham namo mahyam daksho nasti hamatsamah. Aho aham namo mahyam yasya me nasti kinchana. So how Janaka, after realizing who he is, what happens is, you see, here we can understand, like Arjuna is seeing the ultimate within Krishna. So I first want to explain Arjun's point of view, whereby he is not there in context. Only Krishna is there in context. He's saying the ultimate is you. There's no difference. And the other context is where Raja, the King Janaka, realizes what the ultimate is. And Janaka is saying, Aho aham namo mahyam vinasho yasya nasti me. And here the King Janaka is saying that I bow down to myself because there is no end to me. There is no dissolution of me. That's why I bow down to myself. Aho aham namo mahyam. And in that context, it will feel trivial a bit, like how do you bow down to yourself? It is how our eyes will look at it is mainly through the lens of the ego or the self, or somebody who feels that he is overconfident about himself. But that's not the case with Raja Janaka, because it's Ashtavakra Gita. And the person in front of him is Ashtavakra, who has made him realize that what the ultimate is within himself. Like there's no any other thing the ultimate is. It's just there. In that, Janaka is saying that Aho aham namo mahyam ekoham dehavanapi. I bow down to myself because I am the only one who is in the view of sight of myself. Aho aham namo mahyam daksho nasti hamatsamaha. I bow down to myself because there is no one who is as intelligent as me. Aho aham namo mahyam yasya me nasti kinchana. I bow down to myself because there is nothing that I own. Everything is one and the same. And then at last he says, Jnanam jneyam tatha jnata tritayam nasti vastavam. What we talked about Vedita and Vedyam, the person who knows and what is being known. So how Janaka puts it is Jnanam, meaning the knowledge. Jneyam, meaning what is supposed to be known. And Jnata, meaning the one who is knowing. Tritayam, meaning all those three. Nasti Vastava. All those three are essentially not there. Everything is without duality. Everything is one and the same thing. There is no two. So, having listened to both views, whereby Arjuna is saying that you are the ultimate and nothing else is there. He doesn't even consider himself as being present. Only the action of bowing down happens. And in another perspective, when you look at Janaka, he has this revelation that the ultimate is within me, as in not even within me. The ultimate and I, they're not two different things. It's just one. There is no duality between the ultimate and I. So in that case, we are one. So one thing I would like to point out is when you yourself realize that the ultimate is within, what you are doing is saying there's nothing outside. You're negating the outside. When you negate the outside completely, not slowly by slowly, but completely up to the end, you realize if there's no outside, there is no inside. So that's how Janaka realized it. He saw there was no outside. And he also saw when there is no outside, essentially there is no inside. Like when you compress something so much, as in that there is no inside, you'll also realize that if there's no inside, there's no outside as well. So there's no boundaries. One thing to realize here, however you remove the boundary, whether you see the ultimate within yourself or you see the ultimate within everything outside, which means Arjuna seeing the ultimate within Krishna, who is outside of himself. One thing to realize is when you do it completely to the end, to completion, the boundary is the problem, and the boundary is what fades away. When the boundary fades away, that is the ultimate realization. Then however you describe it, whether you describe it as I am the ultimate, or you describe it as Krishna is the ultimate. Because when you're saying I am the ultimate, you're saying I am the ultimate, there is no outside. And when you say only I is there, there's no outside, basically you are everything, from what your body is to the center to everything which is outside. It is one and the same thing. And when you say Krishna is the ultimate, you say I am not there, even like Krishna is everywhere, meaning he's there outside and he is here within. There's no difference within what is outside and what is within. Everything is the ultimate. So these are two ways of describing the same experience. And it is a bit confusing of how that experience happens. But when it happens, the description is second, the experience is first. So when the experience happens, it happens as it is. It's not different for Arjuna and Janaka. There's no duality in the experience, or there's no difference in the experience. The experience is one and the same. The difference is in the explanation of the experience. The difference is in the description of the experience, of how they see the ultimate. Because when you see the ultimate outside, you see it within. When you see the ultimate within, you also see it outside at the same time. There's no time difference between that. Your description is what matters there. So how Arjuna has described it in Gita is in that way, that he sees the ultimate within Krishna. And he also sees the ultimate within, but his focus is onto Krishna, whereby he even forgets himself. He forgets who I am. He forgets everything that I is. He forgets the self and says, you are everything. And when you say you are everything, you negate me completely. Then you see that the ultimate is everywhere. There's no difference here. There's no boundary here. An example I would give to that is like when we have a boundary of our home, there's a boundary, like a wall or something. There is my home, or the compound of my home, and the compound of another person's home until the boundary is there. When the boundary is demolished, then what will happen is there is no my compound and there is no other person's compound. How you describe it, that, oh, my compound is everything, or you say another's compound is everything, that doesn't matter. What matters is the boundary has been taken away. So the earth is one in that way. It's the boundaries that we have created that bring the distinction of I and you. So in that way, consciousness is one. It is all one. The boundary we have created between I and you is our set boundary. When that boundary drops down, whether you say it is I who has become everything, or it is everything that has become I, it is one and the same thing. It's just two ways of describing the same experience. So I would like to know if anyone has any question about this or any comment about this, what I've said so far.
If anyone has a question or a comment, you can type exclamation point in chat or raise your hand in Zoom.
So if there's no comment, I'll just move ahead. Why I pointed out that is because it is really essential to understand that the experience is one, but descriptions may be different about the same thing. Sakheti matva prasabham yaduktam he Krishna he Yadav he Sakheti ajanata mahimanam tavedam maya pramadat pranayena bhapi. Here Arjuna is realized that until now I have taken Krishna as my friend. I have taken Krishna as a person, a normal person who was born in Yadupur or who was born in his lineage family. I have known Krishna as Krishna. Now what is happening is I am knowing Krishna as the ultimate. When you know something as the ultimate and you see that the ultimate is there in Krishna, then what happens is you realize that whatever I have done so far was out of ignorance. Even though I have called him Krishna, it's out of ignorance. I didn't know who he was. When Arjuna is realizing that, he's saying that whatever I had said before this, knowing that you are my friend, because between friends, everything happens. You call somebody by a pet name, you call them with not much respect, you just call them as a friend. Now Arjuna is realizing that the utmost respect should be given to Krishna because he's not normal, he's not like any other being. He is the ultimate, who is everywhere, but I see the ultimate within him. So when I am looking at Krishna, Arjuna is saying, Ajanata mahimanam tavedam maya pramadat pranayena vapi. I have not known your greatness because you have not shown it to me any time before this. So if by mistake, if by my ignorance, I have said anything wrong to you, or I have done anything wrong to you, then forgive me. Because and Arjuna will greatly describe in what ways he should be forgiven, in so many different ways that we shall get ahead. Yachahavasarthamasat kritosi vihara shayyasana bhojaneshu ekothavapya chutatat samaksham tachamaye tvamaham prameyam. I have not known your greatness. I have not known the ultimate. So there are so many times I remember that we have laughed at each other. We have made jokes about each other. And sometimes I have also shown you down in front of other people. Asat kritosi. There's so many times, because when you're friends, you don't look at that. Like there's so many times you're just joking and then you show your friend below because you want to be shown as great in front of your friend. So in that way as well, I have shown you down. Vihara shayyasana bhojaneshu. And there's so many activities we have done together, whether it's playing around together, whether it is about eating together. Even there are some times whereby I have given food to you in your mouth, but as a friend, and I have not known your greatness until this time. What I knew this time is just you as my friend, and I had all these jokes with you. For that reason, when I was near you, I didn't realize that. What you have to do now is that shamaye, forgive me. Tvam aham aprameyam. I've done all this to you, but I realize now that you are aprameyam. You can't be known. So there's one thing here. Arjuna is saying, I have known you to be the ultimate. And then Arjuna again is saying that you cannot be known. You are aprameyam. So that continuously intertwines with Arjuna. It's not a confusion with Arjuna, not at all. What it is that Arjuna is knowing these two things at once. That I have known Krishna as he is, as he's supposed to be known, but I also realize that no one can know him. He's just unknowable. Because I've been together with him so long, since I've not known him. I've just known him right now. So in that way, he's also unknowable. Pitasi lokasya characharasya tvamasya pujyascha guru dhariyan natvat samostya yadhika kutonyo lokatrayepya pratima prabhava. You are from which the whole world or the whole creation has been made. Pitasi, you are the father of all creation. Characharasya, whether you say creation that is in its own place, like for example mountains, or you say creation that moves always, like animals and human beings and all that. So all that you are, like everything is just from you. And what Arjuna is realizing is the only one who is supposed to be bound out to is the source of creation, is what everything comes out of. And that is what Arjuna is saying, Pujya, you are that who is supposed to be worshipped. No one else is worthy of worship in that way, whereby what creation comes out from, that unmanifest, where the manifest comes out from, is what should be revered. Nothing else in the manifest can be referred to as much as the unmanifest can be referred to. And Guru Gariya, you are Gariya, you are the greatest of all. Like even more than the manifest, the unmanifest is more. It is greater than the manifest. Natvat samo asti abhyadika. There is nothing that is more than you. There's nothing that is greater than you. What else should I say? Like, I don't have any words to say now. Because if I say you're greater than everything else, then I'm also putting a duality here, that everything else is here and you are there. But still, kutanya, like, how do I say anya? How do I say another? I also can't say another in this state of being, because I realize that you are everywhere, like you are everything. The unmanifest is what the manifest is. Loka traye api apratima prabhava. How the unmanifest holds the manifest, it is just unique to how it is. There's no logic that can be gotten to it. Tasmat pranamya pranidhaya kayam prasadaye tvamahamisha medium deva putrasya sakheva sakhyu priya priyayar hasideva sodhum. how should I bow down to you? I am out of words now. Like, what should I do? Should I just bow down to you? Should I fold my hands? Should I just put my whole body towards bowing down to you? I'm out of words. Like, I'm even out of actions now. Prasadaye tvam ahamisha medium. I don't know what to do so that your grace can come upon me. I know your grace is always upon me, but there's that distinct moment at this time that I just want your grace to be, without me being, without my action being, without anything else, just one being. And how should you forgive me? Because I've done so much to you. How should you forgive me? Piteva putrasya sakheva sakhyu priya priyayar hasideva sodhum. In the same way as a father tolerates his son, in the same way as a friend, yeah, sorry, did you say something?
No, I don't
Okay.
think anybody said anything.
Okay, sorry. So, yeah, so in the same way a father tolerates his son and forgives him for anything bad he has done, cuddles him, and then puts him back onto the right way, what should be done. In the same way as a friend listens to another friend and forgives another friend for anything bad he has done, accepts him as he is, not putting any conditions to him. In the same way as one who loves you, listens to you, accepts you for who you are, and forgives you for anything bad you have done in the past, and accepts you right now, in the present. In the same way, I am your friend. I am somebody you love. And what you should do is accept me how I am. I may be with so many faults. I may be with so many difficulty, like I may be bringing difficulty to your life. But still, since you love me, since I am your friend, what you should do is just accept me. That's how I am. Like, just like it's here you realize how Arjuna is just saying, please just accept me. I am not worthy of being accepted, but just accept me, because this is how I am. This is who I am, and this is how I have known you. So please accept. Adrishta purvam rishitosmi drishtva bhayena cha pradyathitam mano me tadeva me darshaya deva rupam prasida devesha jagan nivasa. Arjuna here is realizing that Adrishta purvam, no one has seen this ultimate before me. Before me, like before I have realized this, no one has ever realized this as I have realized this. So I would like to point out two different sayings of Krishna. One is at the start of chapter 11, whereby Arjuna is saying that I know Bahunya Drishta Purvani Pasyascharena Bharata. And Arjuna is saying in that way that so many people have seen you in the past. So many people have realized who you are in the past. So many people have known the ultimate within you. That is the same ultimate I want to know. That is the same ultimate I want to realize. And then Arjuna, in the same way here, is saying that no one else has seen the ultimate that I have seen. in our intellect, it feels like that's a distinction, like either someone must have seen it before Arjuna, or someone must not have seen it before Arjuna. How does Arjuna say both these sentences at the same time? Now, in a way, that is not in a way paradoxical at all, because one thing you realize is the ultimate has been realized by so many people before you. And because we are reading all these scriptures in front of us, we are meeting people who have known the ultimate. And we know they have known the ultimate. When we know the ultimate, we certainly realize that the way I have known it, it is distinct. There is that subtle distinction between the way I have known it and the way anyone else has known it before me. Everyone else has known it, yes, but that distinction still remains. For example, when we fall in love, there's that distinction that always remains. Like, people have fallen in love before, but the way you feel the love and the way you feel the emotion, no one else has felt it before, because it is yours. It is your love. Like, it is an emotion within you. It's not an emotion that is within everyone right now. It's within you. When you tell somebody else your emotion, somebody may just reject your emotion, maybe, or someone even accept it, but may not really get into the emotion. So even though somebody accepts it, it's not that he gets into the emotion that you are in. So that distinction is always there. The way you realize that emotion, no one else realizes. And that's how Arjuna is saying that I know so many people have known that experience before, but there's that distinct reality. There's that distinction how I've known it. There's a difference between them knowing and I know it right now. And there is also something within me that when I am there and I am looking at you, the ultimate, I am in a way now, because there are always these phases within our lives whereby we are happy within the bliss, and then we also have the downfalls. We are sad, we are sorrowful, and we have all these different emotions within us. Now, Arjuna here is saying that, yes, I know you are the ultimate. You have so much love for me. You have, like, because you are the ultimate and you accept everything, you accept all the manifest as your own. I know you are. But there is also this distinct feeling within me whereby bhayena cha pravyatitam manome. Like, I can't always see you like this. There is this feeling within myself that when I am there, I, meaning the self, when I am there, when I want to make a distinction between I and you, then there is this fear that I have, because when you are, I am not there. Like, there's no me. So bhayena cha bratitam manome. When I am there, when my ego is there, then there is this subtle fear that I have, because all my ego is dissolving. How should I get back into my body? How should I get my mind right? How should I get my emotions right now? Tadeva me darshaya deva rupam prasida devesha jagan nivasa kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam ichhami tvam drashtumaham tatheva tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte. So Arjuna here is asking that Tadeva me darshaya deva rupa. There was a way you are in front of my eyes before you revealing yourself in front of me. There is a way you are, that you are my friend. You are my, like, I loved you so much. In that way, I am happy with my emotions in that. Like, can I get back to that state? Help me get back to that state. Prasida Devesha Jagan Nivas. Have grace on me and allow me to get back there. I know that you are Kiritinam, Gadinam, Chakrahastam. And that's how I wish to see you. That you have a crown and you have a mess in one hand and you have discus in another hand. That's how I want to see you. Ichhami tuam drashtumaham tateva. Because in that way, you are my friend. You are that person I love in that. Tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte. In that same way, I would like you to be, like how you were showing yourself to me when you are my friend. I will remember that you are the ultimate, but this great form in front of me, I cannot bear it. Like, it's so much onto myself. And that's when Krishna himself gets back to his normal form. In a way, not physically, but he helps Arjuna to get back to his normal state, whereby he sees Krishna as Krishna is, as his friend, as a person he can love, as a person who has come to war and is explaining to Arjuna what is supposed to be done.
Thank you, Yogeshwar. One of the things that I have to say is that what you did so well was bring to light, the confusion of Arjun as to how do I worship this being that I'm seeing, that he has all of these things going on. And, he's seeing Krishna in his ultimate form. And he's like, no, wait, I want to go back. Never mind. And I think you expressed that beautifully. Like, it's like we can't handle a God or Krishna in his full form. Like, as a human being, we can't take it. It always reminds me of the Bible, where it's like the God's like, you can't see me because then you'll die. Like, you can't see my full form. And like, I think it was Moses where he's like, okay, I will hold my hand over you and walk by you. I will give you a glimpse of who I am. Whereas Krishna is like, okay, I will show you everything. And then this time it's Arjuna is like, no, I'm not ready for all this. Like, and I felt it when you were describing the loss, in a sense, of the friendship, that he just wanted his friend back. Like, he didn't want the relationship with him as being the ultimate. He understands that he is and that he will always be that. But he's like, just take me back to the place where we were friends and you just had a crown on your head and a discus in your hand, and let me just be friends with you. And I think that's the beauty of a spiritual relationship, is that you can be friends with the ultimate or friends with God or source. But you will never be able to understand it. Like, we can't understand it fully in our forms. And I think you did a great job explaining that. So thank you again for doing this, and really appreciate everything that you do. So I will shut up now. And if anybody has any questions or comments, you can either type exclamation point in Zoom, in chat, sorry, or raise your hand in Zoom. Penny, followed by Ambika.
I just had a question, because in here, when when he was talking about Krishna, then he said there's nobody superior to you in the three worlds. And I was just curious, what are the three worlds?
Yes, so metaphorically, like three worlds, what it means is that they are normal human beings, yeah, as we are, like normal. Now, that state in which, like, human beings reach, whereby they have all the luxury in their life, they have all the, what do you call it, all the good riches in their life, and they are just, whatever they want to get, they just get it. So that is, like, we would say, the above the normal humans. And when we say above, we don't mean literally above, but we mean strategically above. Yeah. And they're those human beings whereby they, even to get what they need, essentially need, not luxuriously, but what they essentially need as a basic need, it's really hard to get. So there are all these three states of human beings as well, that whereby we say one is above the other in a metaphoric way, like in a way not physically, but it is there. There's that distinction, whereby there's a three world distinction between even human beings as well.
Thank you. Up next, we have Ambika.
So just to follow up with what you just said, Yogeshwar, the three world distinction is sort of a way to understand the greater aspects of that which is the same, for us to coexist at the same time with the divine principle. Would that make sense?
Yes, because you see now, what is normally known as, like, for example, if I could go into, because now you are asking the question, and you know the context of three worlds, whereby the upper world would be said like devatas are there in the upper world. So what we mean by devatas are those who point towards the ultimate more. Yeah, in that case, whereby even we say that the sun is a devata or Vayu is a devata, and when we see the sun, we see Surya Narayan. We just don't see the sun. Yeah, we see Narayan within. We see the ultimate within, and it points towards the ultimate. It gives us that experience of the ultimate. So that is also there. And normal, like now, if I talk about the peripheral, the normal things at the peripheral, which you normally interact with, and they're just in normal life. They don't mean really that much to us, in that we can see the ultimate within them. And then there are those things that pull us away from the ultimate. So even above all those three, we would say that asuras are live in the downward world. Yeah? So we would say that those things pull us away from the ultimate. Those are such things like bad actions that we do, or bad karma, bad sanskara that we have. And that pulls us away from the ultimate. It doesn't point us towards the ultimate. So the ultimate is above all these three. It is, maybe even the devatas are pointing towards the ultimate, but still they're at the peripheral. So everything is in the ultimate in one way, that the unmanifest is what brings about the manifest. Right. It is the way the unmanifest is showing itself to you. But even having in mind all the distinctions, the unmanifest is beyond the manifest.
So in a way, the asuras and the lower forms can also point you to the divine.
Yes, in a way.
Yeah, right. So because you say, oh, not this, in a way.
Yes.
But they're all pointing you to the center.
Yes, they are all pointing you towards the center, but sometimes it's distinct, whereby, like, let's say I have a feeling that I want to get something more than I have.
Yeah.
Now, if I run into the direction of getting more money, will I get to the ultimate? There is a subtle distinction whereby, even it is that essence that will take me towards the ultimate. I want more. But now the direction you take it into matters. The direction you point it at matters.
But you need the money to pay your taxes and pay your rent and all.
Yeah,
So that is important. But
yeah, it is really important.
Isn't that also energy?
Yes, it is. It is energy. And you see, in a way, whereby Krishna says that do karma yoga, and you'll reach me. So Krishna is saying, yes, do everything as you are doing it, because he's not telling Arjuna to run away from the war. Even this is a war for us. Like we'll not call it a war, because in our minds, a war meaning bad happenings to our life. But for Krishna, a war is your action, the right action that you're supposed to do. So in that way, we are supposed to do all we are supposed to do. And if we do it in the right way, yoga karma sukhaushalam, normally we will think that that karma takes us away from the ultimate. But if you do it in that distinctly right way, it takes you towards the ultimate, that same karma.
Thank you, Yogeshwar. Does anybody else have anything, any questions, comments?
This was very beautiful.
I agree. Well, if anybody else doesn't have anything, I want to thank everyone for being here and being supportive tonight. I know it's kind of a different meetup than Shrikant being here. And trust me, I'm not replacing him. But I want to thank everybody here for supporting and encouraging this meetup. Thank you especially to Yogeshwar for being here for the whole time, and for the commentary, and for answering all the questions. Thank you especially to Ambika for being supportive and helping me tonight, fill in the space. So thank you. And thank you to everybody. Brian, Penny, thank you for reading. Penny, it was great. Thank you so much. And everyone have a wonderful weekend. Just some upcoming events. I know on Saturday, just gonna pull it up really quick. Actually, I have it on my computer. On Saturday, I think Jason is having a meetup of, just want to get the right name of it. Of course, my computer is going slow. But if you check the meetup website for 52 Living Ideas, you will see Jason has a meetup, or an Asian meetup, Saturday at 7 p.m. Just trying to get to the topic and my computer doesn't want to cooperate. So I apologize for that. Yogeshwar, so there will not be a meetup tomorrow night for the Gita, but there will be a meetup Saturday at 7 p.m. and that's through Jason. You can link it to the website. Ambika.
I just wanted to ask Yogeshwar something, but I don't know if he's here.
I think he's still here.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Shri Avanik. It was beautiful. And everybody, thank you. And Yogeshwar, I would love to learn to chant like you do, to recite it like this. I don't know if you'll give a class on, even one time just to chant it together in Sanskrit.
Maybe, but what I have learned, I've learned it over the years, because I've not learned like each and every verse per se. It's like we've just been chanting it all through, even using Upanishads. And one thing is, if you know Hindi, it's easier, but still that formation of the tongue is a bit twisting. So that's one thing which practice does it. So if you can practice it, then it goes on.
Yes. I can read, I can chant the Rudra because I've been doing it for some time. This is, yeah, because of the words are all compound words.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Namaste.
Have a great night, everyone, and we will see you soon.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Thanks so much, Eminique and Yogeshwar. It was wonderful.